They said it was written by the Dark Arts, bound in flesh, written in blood on paper made from the skin of virgin sacrifices. The Necronomicon Ex Mortis. I can't tell you if that's true. I can tell you that it's the most dangerous book on tape ever read. Just looking at it, you can tell that messing with it will bring nothing but trouble.
Look what I found!
Get upset on the internet.
Hi everybody and welcome to Retro Station 1989. I'm Commander Dan, the lone human inhabitant and commander of the vessel filled with retro goodness. With me, as always, is Margot, our ship's AI. We've got Cambot Jr. doing his job right in front of me, and Splat, who apparently found something to play with other than the engines or something else that'll send us to an evil dimension. And this is License to Play, where we review licensed retro games based on movies, TV shows, comic books, occasionally a fast food mascot here or there, sometimes celebrities themselves. You never know. We can always review something licensed. We evaluate it for my alien overlords from Planet X who sponsor this show, and we tell you whether or not the game has a license to play. This week, we've got a horror license to kick off our spookiest season that's dear to my heart. And we're going to go ringing this season right, aren't we, Margot?
Query. Commander Dan, please explain spookiest season. The sponsors from Planet X did not program me with that knowledge.
Gee, that's a great question. I checked the archive for Carpenter, John and Halloween. And try checking out Raimi, Sam, and King, Stephen. Should help you figure it all out.
Aye, Commander.
What was that?
Unknown, Commander.
Hey, Commander Dan, look what I found in my room!
That's not your room. It's a waste disposal unit. What did you find, Splat?
It's an old Earth read-along book, and came with this tape. The label is missing letters, but I think it says Life of Ed. It should be good. I'm gonna play it.
Wait, where did you find that exactly?
Oh, in a symbol made of an unbroken line of salt. Hold on, the tape was upside down.
That's weird. Considering you don't have an atmosphere up here. Margot? Margot? This seems off. I'm sure it's nothing. Everything seems like it'll be fine, right, Splat?
Shh! I want to hear this guy.
Not normal. Okay. I'm gonna leave that alone and hope that whatever idiotic thing happens to Splat first. Cambot Jr., let's dive into this license. Last time we talked about horror movies, we talked about Jason and Friday the 13th for the NES, and Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street, also for the NES. This year we talk about a horror classic by filmmakers from my home state of Michigan. The horror classic, the splatterpunk masterpiece, The Evil Dead. The Evil Dead is one of those movies that got way bigger with the mainstream audience after its director broke through with a huge film. In this case, the director is Sam Raimi, and the movie, 2002's Spider-Man. Just like Peter Jackson and his horror masterpiece, Brain Dead, known here in the States as Dead Alive. It got a huge resurgence in fan recognition and knowledge by the mainstream audience because of the success of Lord of the Rings. Or take George Miller. VHS fans already knew him as the auteur behind the Mad Max series, but the mainstream took a second look at those flicks when he made it big with Babe. Who knew a talking pig would be the reason folks found out that Master Blaster rules Bartertown? Well, guess what? Two of those flicks, Mad Max and Dead Alive, well, one is a violent series of post-apocalyptic awesomeness, and beyond the VHS case for Dead Alive, I'll prevent myself from becoming banned from YouTube for showing some of the insanity from this rad, blisteringly violent, and darkly hysterical horror show. But neither of those were so, disreputable as to be put on the UK's Video Nasties list. The Video Nasty was the UK media's term for horror flicks that were deemed filthy enough to be banned and censored by statute, primarily horror movies. First, there was a list that had titles like I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left, which would carry a fine and a charge for obscenity if you were found showing it or owning it. The Video Recordings Act 1984 was a massive crackdown on obscene material, which, had this delicious legal text included. Obscenity was defined as with a tendency to deprave and corrupt persons who are likely having regard to all relevant circumstances to read, see, or hear the matter contained or embodied in it. That's pretty wide speech. That means anything you can see or take into your auditory canal and have observed it, we can call it obscenity and post facto punish you for seeing it or having had heard it or owning it, etc. And that's ridiculous. So basically, the United States' First Amendment definition of obscenity is we know it when we see it, but it is allowed to exist. The UK came down like, well, this guy, Judge Dredd, which is ironic. You want to know why? The UK came up with the majority of Punk, Judge Dredd, and John Constantine, and the Watchmen? Probably this lady. And the way that her government wanted to crush the counterculture threatening the power structure of the baby boomers. That's my last political statement about all this, but as a horror fan, the video Nasties thing, man, that's just some low shit, bro. Today, the rules have been relaxed to reflect modern sensibilities, but not by much. I mean, it's probably because one raid of obscene material at a video store netted exactly one copy of the best little whorehouse in Texas as porno. Yeah, Great Britain. You know, I've seen more salacious episodes of Great Space Coaster. Evil Dead has a bunch of licensed merch, but only ever had one other video game, which was for Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum, and the BBC Micro on magnetic tape. Which didn't stop the magazines in the UK, of course, baiting the fans of computer games with the looming terror of video nasties morphing into computer nasties as a part of the UK's pressure to destroy entertainment, blah, blah, blah. It was just bait to make people buy more magazines, but because in the article they state that nothing in the video game The Evil Dead would keep the average kid awake at night. Because of course it wouldn't. I mean, look at this game. It looks like Temple of Apshai had an illegitimate kid with Print Shop Pro and Tron light cycles. It wasn't great, and garnered mostly yawns in your Sinclair magazine. I'm a horror cinephile. Each of the movies in the Evil Dead series have existed on my shelves in one iteration or another many times. For my fellow Deadheads, no, not those Deadheads Cambot Jr. Those are known as hippies, part of the dopest smokest sapiens breed of Earth people. We can probably ignore most of them. Change it, please. Thank you. I'm talking Deadheads, Evil Dead fans. We all know what I'm talking about. The same way a Disney fan hears the dreaded Disney Vault, the way a Phantasm fan hates that you almost never see a full marathon of Phantasm because of the issues with the second movie and all of the licensing rights, my fellow Deadheads know that the first movie, The Evil Dead, has more releases, re-releases, edits, and versions than Pokemon. Only with different versions of the movie rather than a matricidal dinosaur wearing their murdered mom's skull for a hat. Now, I can't say for sure Cubone killed his mom, scooped out the brains, served them to his little Pokemon friends, and dried the skull out to wear as a hat because it's a vicious little murdiddly erderer. That's just a lame theory.
Man, it's too dang spooky in here. And then, look at this. It's like the station is projecting a way scarier interior than I'd like. Now, I'm no weak-hearted dingleberry, folks, that's for sure, but come on, this is scary stuff. There's pumpkins. Wow, Margot sure made the interior more Halloween-y and spooky.
Ooh, the book can read itself. Whoa, boss, listen to this. It's hysterical.
Hey there.
Holy crabble pies, the Necronomicon!
Oh wow, you've heard of me? This is embarrassing. Well, since your adorable little friend here...
Splat is made from rectal polyp tissue and teeth and hair we tried to file down to make him presentable.
Like I said, adorable.
Right. I forget you're a hellish text of evil. So who's to say what's adorable to you, I guess?
Well, here's the thing. Splat played the tape with the Deadite summoning spell, so... yeah.
Aw, crap!
Yeah.
Well, Cambot Jr., let's show the people who don't know what the heck I'm so worried about what to be worried about. Roll it.
The Evil Dead is the classic romance tale of couples heading into the mountains to a cabin for a love-swept getaway to celebrate the purity of love and romance. Then they find a hellish text designed to create an evil hellscape on our world, summoning demons from beyond every dimension. This book, the Necronomicon, are the rituals and spells of the most evil beings ever, the Dark Ones, who summon the Deadites. This book, the Necronomicon, is the worst. An anthropologist translated the book and read it aloud on a reel-to-reel tape, and the couples play it, because of course they would. It's romantic to hear a crusty old professor read devil text from a cursed book into a 70s-era tape recorder. It's like ASMR, but for booty, baby. This was a bad move, but it also predicted the use of audio logs in video games, and how listening to them often comes to no good end. Books are evil, is the message, and the Necronomicon is no exception. After playing the tape, the spells etched into the flesh-bound skin pages activate and awaken within the deep, dark wood. The evil dead. And what happens next is not appropriate for YouTube. Like many tales of horror, there's a final survivor. And the final survivor heroes are typically brave, hardy, strong in moral character, capable, courageous, and pure. They're virgins and super nice. Well, that's not who we get.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Ash Williams is a self-serving, horny everyman who hangs on to life and his own safety like a fat man clinging to the last deviled egg at an office Christmas party at Weight Watchers. And his ability to fight off the Deadites and stay alive against these insane odds spawned 2 movie sequels, The Evil Dead 2, which was like a remake/reboot/sequel, and Army of Darkness. Both follow Ash as he tramples the asses of the evil dead. Whoops, I take it back. In the 3rd movie, it's Bruce Campbell himself versus the Army of Darkness. Hell yeah. So much of what works in the movies is the wry, handsome Campbell dropping one-liners and dialogue ripped out of 1940s noir tales and kicking serious ass. These movies spawned a TV series, and through it all is our hero, Ash Williams, a role model. Kinda.
Okay. Now I've had time to get my bearings and remember what the hell's going on here. Let's get this straight right now. Number 1, magic, it don't exist. Number 2, Deadites also don't exist. So you, Mr. Ancient Book of the Dead, bound in flesh and written in blood on the skin of virgin sacrifices or whatever the hell you are, don't scare me none.
Oh, really? Dang. How's this?
For real? Are you kidding me right now? For the record, by the way, this is not Halloween. That's not what Halloween means, Margot. Gambot, fire up the medbay immediately and let's play the info reel immediately.
Evil Dead, Hail to the King by THQ for PS1, PC, and Sega Dreamcast. Was designed by Matt Kuhil and the Maniacs at Heavy Iron Studios, a brand new studio created by industry engineer Steve Gray, who built the first motion capture laboratory for EA Canada, used in games like the Skate series. But the most important fact about Steve will come up later as an answer to a question everyone has ever had about this game. And we'll discuss that in the evaluation. But now we're just discussing the game. The game was released to lukewarm critical reception with an overall Metacritic score of about 45 across the board. Thoroughly middly over here, right? I mean, with Deadheads, the game was received well enough, I guess. I've seen a couple reviews where the reviewer tells us they're a fan of Evil Dead, and still they bag nuts right on the game. Now this game, despite middling reviews and mixed fan reception, spawned a franchise of sequel games. But today, we're focusing on the inaugural title, Evil Dead, Hail to the King.
I just want to apologize to everybody out there. To Splat's mom, and Cambot Jr.'s mom, and my mom, and Mr. T's mom. And I'm sorry to everyone. I was very naive. Stingy. It stings so bad. I'm so sorry for everything that's happened. Because in spite of what Splat thinks, it is my fault. Because it was my evaluation, and I insisted that Margot learn about Halloween and being spooky. I insisted on everything. I insisted on being super spook. I insisted that Necronomicon, whatever it's called, wasn't real. I insisted on eating all those ghost peppers just before I did the evaluation. Now my butt's gonna burn, and my hand hurts. Oh, look at it. Oh, gosh. Oh, stingy. So stingy. Everything had to be my way. And this is where it got me. I went from handsome to handless. It's my fault that we're all in this situation now. Splat's afraid. Margot's defunct. And I've gone insane with fear. I'm fear peeing. Just a little bit, but it's still pee. This is a lot of pee. Okay, I lied. I'm so scared. What was that? Oh God. I'm scared to close my eyes. And you wouldn't know, because I'm wearing glasses. I'm scared to open them. I'm trying, but I can't. They're full of fear tears. I'm scared to look at the screens around here. I'm scared to go bungee jumping. I'm scared to use the bathroom at a gas station that I don't know. I'm very scared of everything. I'm scared not to go to the bathroom in case, it's super rad in there and they have cool visual things, but I'm scared that any one of these Starling events will make me pee my spacesuit inside out. I'm so very scared. Oh God, why am I so scared? What was that noise? Oh God. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna bleed to death from an imaginary book, and all I can think about is this blob of super snot that I can't get out of my throat.
Okay, boss, I've patched you up for your specifications, and you should be coming back to full consciousness now.
Okay. Hey, Necronomicrotch!
Hey, no need to be so aggro, bro.
That's what you think. I've learned a couple things by being a Deadhead fan of the greatest horror ever and the greatest kicker of evil asses in the history of film since Audie Murphy. Mr. Ash Williams. 1, the only way evil wins is if good people do nothing. And 2, well, the best defense is good offense. And 3, the best offense is a chainsaw for a hand.
What the fuck?
Hail the king, baby!
Oh no. Oh, I'm dead.
Okay, all right. Okay, everybody. Okay, let's dive right in. The Evil Dead. Hail to the king. Is it upside down? I don't give a shit.
I try to be fair in these evaluations, and that means I don't just pick up a notorious game and play as is and compare it to games as they are now. I try to review the game and play it with a mindful eye on the game as was. Meaning, I'm not going to compare the graphics of, say, a Super Mario World to the graphics of Super Mario Galaxy, for example, but I would compare it to something like Plock for the SNES instead. In the case of Evil Dead, I wouldn't compare its controls to that of Resident Evil 4, for example, since that wouldn't be contextually accurate or fair. That is, if Evil Dead had come out when Resident Evil came out. But it didn't. It came out in 2000, 3 years after Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, and Dino Crisis. By then, the controls for Resident Evil were down pat. The two major complaints about this game were its controls and the combat. Now, remember how I said the question, why would THQ trust a green rookie programming studio to handle this license? Well, it is going to be important to this game's evaluation, like I said. Here's why. Steve Gray was the uncredited manager of the production team at Square Enix when the blockbuster hit Smash in America, Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve was a bit of a hybrid game. It had the classic tank controls of Resident Evil and the gameplay of a turn-based RPG. And that's why Evil Dead plays the way it does. THQ brought in a programming team based on a prior genre hit, and then asked them to create a game in the style the team had no experience in, survival horror action. I'm sure this has to do with them, overblowing their resume. We were responsible for the American version of Parasite Eve, when all you really did was translate the Japanese code and probably add translations to it. It's like, well, you bit off more than you could chew there, guys. So what we end up with is Evil Dead Hail to the King. The game's narrative takes place in the cabin from the first Evil Dead flick, some years after the events of Army of Darkness. Ash has been living in, well, Dearborn, Michigan again, and has been having nightmares about the Necronomicon. Along with his new girlfriend, Jenny from S-Mart, heads back out to the cabin, which, dude, why the hell would Ash do that? That'd be like Nancy Thompson demanding to Airbnb her old bedroom on Elm Street during Remember Freddy Krueger week in Springwood. But whatever, he went back twice. Third time's a charm, right? Well, no. No. This time he's whacked on the head by Bad Ash, and Jenny kidnapped, and then they both head off to the 9th century of Saudi Arabia. I'll let that sink in. Over the course of the game, Ash battles Deadites, Hellbillies, and possessed Wolverines, with the kind of controls reserved for a Carnival arcade crane machine. But instead of minions or fluffy Minecraft monsters, the only thing dropping out of this game is tons and tons of disappointment. With the very notable exception of Bruce Campbell's voice work, the addition of the one-liner button makes the long times you spend flailing around for solutions to some of the most obtuse puzzles in the business a little more tolerable. The gameplay is primitive. The hitboxes seem like they were produced by a random number generator, and the graphics are mostly brown and a darker grayscale brown, which is just great. Oh, and last but not least, it has an ending that takes its cues from the Bruce Willis game Apocalypse, which I've evaluated it already, so take a look at that. I happen to like the ending of this game, but trust me when I say, if you plow through this game, you power through this hefty meatball sub of awful, you will not be rewarded with a fulfilling end to a tedious quest. But let me tell you, it does stay true to the franchise and Sam Raimi's tendency to go for the downbeat and grim endings, leaving us with one final question.
Whoa! My hand came back. Anyway, well, not being dismembered is pretty great. I still have some questions. Chief among them, does Hail to the King have a license to play? The answer to that is pretty much no. Sorry. I mean, folks, this is the spookiest season, and I love Halloween and I love Evil Dead, but this game, the rush job on this title is what's truly scary. So, my hand's back. That's weird. Splat, have you handled that evil book?
Nom 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 nom. Sure thing, boss. Nom 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 nom.
And with this evaluation finished, all that remains to figure out is what's going on around here.
I can help with that.
Yeah?
You have now experienced the most spookiest season. Happy Halloween, Commander.
What the fuck?
Get upset on the internet. You're assault adult. You're assault adult. Get upset on the internet. You're assault adult. Throwing out a hissy fit, your views ain't in the millions, and every up and comer is a threat to what you're dealing. And instead of getting better, you